is all made in Italy. It's not made in Italy. This you gotta take a picture of right there. This is an American chassis. The little American, that's what this is. Which the ambassador running, you know. But it's too light. Yeah, it's terrible, right? Weighs 2240.
2,240 pounds?
2,240. The car was made in Italy, it wasn't made here. It was made in Switzerland and Italy and put together over there.
And you were working at the factory when you got it?
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
I was a mechanic for 15 years.
Yeah?
15 years of mechanic. Why don't you stop over? You got my car.
We had another car that everybody used to drool over. It had Merrill aligners where we aligned the front end at the end of the tune-up lines.
The white one.
And so we had to have a master fixture, I guess you'd call it, so we could zero in the aligners. The idea was to put something on these rollers. They were calibrated and computer readouts. And when the guy on the end would adjust the tie rod ends to get his toe in right, there'd be gauges down there.
Yeah, I know.
And when you get the front end all adjusted and all the big Gardner Denvers, they'd be down there. And when he got, you know, his needles where they belonged, he thought he was okay.
Well, I'm zero.
So he had done his job. So every shift they would bring in the master car and set it on, and then check to see if the needles, you know, maybe the needles were a little bit off. Something had happened, and they adjusted so that made sure you had proper alignment.
I remember that.
Now they didn't really need a car. They could have taken some I-beams.
Yeah, they could have did that too.
And welded it.
Yeah.
You know, and made the master out of it. But what the heck? We were in the car business, so they had an AMX, a white AMX that they beefed up and welded the front end so it couldn't be adjusted, and they made it just perfect. And that AMX was what they used to
line the front end,
to master the aligners.
Yeah.
Every shift they'd bring that car, and then they'd park it up on the roof. And it would sit there, and God, people would go nuts. Everybody wondered what was going to happen to that car. And I'm surprised, you know, they start picking stuff off of it, the emblems were gone, and then we went into a different process, so we didn't use that car anymore, and we ended up restoring that car. I don't know if you were there yet or not.
Somebody said it went to Paris, France.
Yeah, I think it probably ended up somewhere over there. Renault was here already.
Yeah, that's right.
We took that car. In fact, your AMO club was quite helpful in helping us locate some parts. Those numbers were put on the AMX in chassis.
Yeah.
And the reason you could never sequence anything out of the body shop,
no, you couldn't,
because the car may have gone to the side in the metal shop for some repair, gets up into paint, you know, they get all mixed up, they move them around for color batching, or it could have been a paint repair.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Then it finally goes on to trim,
you
know, and the same thing can happen there, and eventually it gets scheduled for the final line. So car one might have ended up, you know, was the 43rd one.
Yeah, 43rd.
So they were those numbers were put on in the chassis line, and they were sequential chassis. But they were not necessarily sequential build.